unconscionable. If your loved one has been abused, call the attorneys at the Nursing Home Abuse Law Center. They'll help you through this difficult time and seek the maximum compensation possible.
I'm attorney Kevin McLean. I've been handling lawsuits against nursing homes for 10 years. Give us a call for a free consultation.
Toll free, 1-888-NH-ABUSE.
Tired of being overweight? Can't make the right choices when it comes to eating? Do you eat all the wrong foods? At Weight Loss Centers, we can help you lose weight and learn how to keep it off. With our quick weight loss program, there's no prepackaged meals, no group meetings, no gimmicks. Lose weight and eat real food. You can go to restaurants, even eat fast foods. Weight Loss Centers offers 100% privacy and fast results. Lose weight and not your lifestyle.
Our lowest price ever, lose weight, $4 a week. Now open Sarasota and St. Pete's, 1-800-526-SLIM.
Brandon, we've got you covered.
We now join the following program already in progress.
5 people in the San Francisco area during the 1960s. That killer also left notes claiming to be excited by killing. The crimes were never solved. Meanwhile, hundreds of police are moving into the area after the killer signed a name to the letter and said if it is mispronounced by the media, it will mean the death of 3 vegetables a week. Vegetables is the term the killer used once before, referring to children. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Tokyo.
Coming up, with school almost recessed, how can you keep your kids occupied?
Well, one answer is by reading. Find out how to make learning through the summer a lot more fun when Up to the Minute returns.
Ma, you know how precious sleep is. Well, if you're having trouble, get Unisom. A generic store brand? Ma, it's not Unisom. The pharmacist said Unisom. It's not habit forming. Unisom ever let you down? You feel better the next day? I know, but it's not like other things. It's your sleep, Ma. Unisom's worth it. So are you.
I did it! I lost 5 pounds in 5 days. It's great. 5 pounds in 5 days.
Introducing Jumpstart, the breakthrough 5-day diet plan from Slim Fast.
I lost 5 pounds and my jeans fit again.
Jumpstart helps you lose up to 5 pounds in 5 days. Nutritious high-protein shakes along with fruits and vegetables make Jumpstart the healthy, delicious way to lose weight.
5 pounds
in 5 days.
Jumpstart.
From Slim Fast, lose up to 5 pounds in 5 days.
Jumpstart.
A message about heartburn from the American College of Gastroenterology.
If you have heartburn more than twice a week, it may not be simple heartburn. You may have a more serious condition called reflux disease or GERD. My advice? If you have frequent heartburn or still have symptoms on your over-the-counter or prescription medicine, see your doctor or gastrointestinal specialist. They can help you live pain-free.
To learn more about heartburn and GERD, call 1-800-HRT-BURN.
They can be terribly disturbing for any woman. The health concerns that come with menopause. How comfortable do you feel talking to your doctor? What are your options? Then, a celebration for all fathers. But where do you go to find something special for your dad on his day? We've got some great ideas. Plus, George Harrison and all your latest weather coming up on This Morning.
Heard any good echoes lately? This woman makes them. Find out all about the tunnel singer tomorrow on Up to the Minute.
For the class of 2000 at CY Junior High School on CBS.
It's the end of the school year and kids are already thinking about summer fun. But fun doesn't have to mean learning has to stop until school starts again. Educators say it's important for children to continue reading right through the summer. And in this morning's Parenting Points, we'll show you how parents can make reading a really fun part of the lazy, hazy days of summer. William Trueheart is president of Reading is Fundamental, the nation's oldest and largest nonprofit children's literacy organization. He's in our Washington bureau this morning. In New York, Ellen Lochran. She's a Reading is Fundamental volunteer and manager of children's services at the Brooklyn Public Library. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Bill, why is summer reading so important?
Summer reading is important because there's just a powerful
amount of evidence that shows that if children don't continue to read during the summers, they actually fall behind. And there's a lot of evidence that shows that children who read during the summer actually gain in their skills. So that those children who stop reading in the summer end up at a disadvantage when the next school year begins, and it becomes a cumulative problem as they go forward.
How can parents encourage their kids to read? I mean, it's summertime, they want to go outside, they want to splash around in the pool.
Well, what parents have to do is make sure that they help children understand that reading is fun, and try to combine reading with fun activities. And there are lots of ways that that can be done. I can give you hundreds of examples, but I'll give you a few. If you,
Thank you.
If parents, one of the things that always strikes me is that we as parents often wait until children go to sleep or otherwise occupied in another room before we sit down and read for pleasure. And I would suggest that parents during the summer change those patterns and try to show children that they can read for pleasure and read with them and show them that they read for pleasure throughout the year. As parents, we forget that we're reading every day, all day long throughout the year. And children often associate reading with just school assignments. And it's up to the parents to help them understand that reading can be a year-round activity and it can be fun.
Ellen, would you like to add to that?
Well, yes, I think I would just like to reinforce what Dr. Trueheart said. And I think it's very important for children to see their parents reading and reading for pleasure in the house, because then they will associate it with something pleasurable. I also think it's very important for families to read together, even if children can read to themselves. I love to be read to, and I haven't been a child for many years.
Nonsense. What makes for good summer reading? Are certain books better than others?
I think that parents need to talk to kids and find out what they're interested in. There are books that are a great deal of fun, and they're wonderful to read. They're wonderful to read together. But if there are some children who just are not fiction readers, and if they want to read sports books all summer, they should read sports books. If they're kids who like to work with their hands, they should read books on crafts and art. If there's some kids who are just interested in the world around them and in the people in that world, they should read biographies. But there are wonderful books for families to read together.
You brought some of your favorite books with you.
I did indeed. I brought Sarah Plain and Tall, which is a Newbery Award winner, which tells you that it's a very well-written book, but it's about a boy and girl in Nebraska whose father has answered an ad for a mail-order bride. And she advertised that her name was Sarah and that she was plain and tall. And they didn't care because what they wanted was a new mother.
What's the next one?
The next one is called One-Eyed Cat. And this is a wonderful story for families to read together because Paula Fox doesn't pull punches with her audience. She always has great respect for children. This is the story of a boy and his mother. And there's a great deal of guilt in this story, and it's also the way he develops a sense of moral responsibility for his actions. So this is the kind of book that you can read together and talk about. The third book I'd like to tell you about is Mrs. Pig Gets Cross, and this is the story of a British family of pigs who all have Welsh names. And it is a collection of short stories. It is very, very funny. Mary Rayner is the only author I know of who can get slapstick into children's literature. She's a wonderful writer. The next book is The Puppy Sister. The writer of this book also wrote The Outsiders, Rumblefish, Tex, all of these heavy, that was then, this was now, all of these very heavy books for teenagers. And then she wrote this book about a boy who wants a sister, and what he gets is a puppy. And the magic in this book is that the puppy becomes his sister. And they know that she's really transitioning. This is one of my favorite parts of this book. They know she's transitioning because when she smells the father's shoes, when she was a puppy, she adored them, but then she starts going, this is terrible. So they know that she is now becoming a human being.
I guess you have to read that one to really get it.
It is really funny. This is a funny book. And then the last book is called Amazing Grace, and it is the story of a girl who wants to be the lead in a play. And everybody tells her she can't do it because she's not white. But she proves to them that if you're a good enough actor, you can play anyone you want.
You're going to give us a treat and read some passages.
Okay. I brought first The Stinky Cheese Man and Other Fractured, Fairly Stupid Tales.
I love the title of this book.
Well, I love the book because what the author is John Sheska, and the illustrator, whose name is Lane Smith, sat down together. They worked very well as a team, and they fractured every fairy tale that is beloved of human beings. The Stinky Cheese Man is actually a takeoff on the Gingerbread Boy, and they also took all of the conventions that make a picture book. Like the title page, the starting page, all of the information is at the back of the thing. The heroine gets hit by a curtain at the end.
Why don't
the little red hen.
Why don't you, we're running out of time
okay.
here.
Oh, I'm sorry. So what he says is, the Stinky Cheese Man said, I've run away from the little old lady and a little old man, and I can run away from you too, I can. Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the Stinky Cheese Man. The cow gave another sniff and said, I'll bet you could give someone 2 or 3 stomach aches. I think I will just eat weeds. So the cow didn't chase the Stinky Cheese Man either.
Why would you want to chase a Stinky Cheese Man in the first place?
I don't know. I think that Limburger, you might like Limburger.
Lon Popo.
Lon Popo is a Little Red Riding Hood from China. The author is Ed Young, and he wrote this story for children. And it is the Chinese version, so that the difference, if children know the first version, the difference is wonderful for them because it points out the difference in the 2 cultures. It's this part that I'm going to read says, but an old wolf lived nearby and saw the good mother leave. At dusk, disguised as an old woman, he came up to the house of the children and knocked on the door twice. Bang, bang. Shang, who was the eldest, said through the latch door, Who is it? My little Jewel, said the wolf. This is your grandmother, your Popo. Popo, Shang said, our mother has gone to visit you. And it goes on much as you would expect.
I think we have time for one more.
Okay. I thought maybe I would tell you then the story of the true story of the 3 Little Pigs, which is another collaboration of John Sheska and Lane Smith.
You mean all this time we haven't been getting the true story of the 3 Little Pigs?
No, because you didn't get it from the point of the view of the wolf, whose name is Alexander T. Wolf. You can call him Al. And I think the part this is my favorite picture. He's complaining about wolves have a bad rap. He says, maybe it's because of our diets. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad, too.
Okay.
Bill, I think it's important to point out that reading does not have to cost a cent, correct?
Doesn't have to cost a cent?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's correct.
Don't most libraries have summer reading programs?
Oh, absolutely. There are lots of summer reading programs, and one of the things I would encourage parents to do is to continue to take their children to the libraries during the summer. And many of the libraries have contests during the summer, and children should be encouraged to sign up for those contests. They set goals, and there are prizes and celebrations, and it's a wonderful way to have children continue to be engaged in reading during the summer.
Bill, Ellen, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're watching CBS News Up to the Minute. Stay tuned.
the volume. It's Classical Thunder, the most explosive collection of music you've ever heard. Get Classical Thunder on 2 cassettes for just $14.99 or 2 compact discs for $16.99. That's 32 awesome tracks in one thundering collection. You can preview other Classical Favorites albums. There's no minimum to buy and satisfaction guaranteed. So come on, crank it up. Call now for Classical Thunder.
Order Classical Thunder, call 1-800-570-8484. That's 1-800-570-8484. Or send $14.99 for 2 cassettes or $16.99 for 2 CDs, plus $3.50 shipping to Classical Thunder, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia.
Incredibly, Matchlight, the dependable one-match charcoal from Kingston, is ready to cook on in just 15 minutes. So, the sooner you get Matchlight, the sooner you eat.
He can run the equivalent of 200 miles per hour. Not fast enough. Nothing's faster than Black Flag. Roaches start to die instantly. Black Flag. Ready, aim, gone.
At least 6 people were injured in the panhandle town of Shamrock, Texas last night when a powerful tornado ripped through open land and over a highway, throwing vehicles on Interstate 40 around like toys. Police said the twister measured at least a half-mile across. There's more severe weather in the forecast in and around the Rockies, in the Central Plains, and scattered over just about all of the east today. High temps today, mostly 80s from the Central Plains and through the east, 60s and 70s in the west and northern plains, 90s in Texas and the desert.
Asteroids, ill-shaped formations floating aimlessly through space, not asteroid 3753. Scientists say the 3-mile-wide rock discovered back in 1986 is actually orbiting the Earth as the Earth orbits the Sun. And like the Moon, 3753 feels the effects of Earth's gravity, which slightly alters the rock's path. The complex and peculiar orbit of 3573 is explained in today's journal, Nature.
Wasn't there a song called 3753?
I was thinking 8675309. Maybe that was what was playing in your head.
Something was playing in my head. I don't know if that was it
I don't know what the deal is with 3753. How come we haven't seen this thing?
I don't know. We've certainly said it enough.
Yeah, 3753. It needs a name. That should be the assignment for the up-to-the-minute viewers. Come up with a name for 3753.
Because we're getting tired of saying it.
We'll be right back.
We'll be back.
Psychic Friends Network celebrates the Best Friends Ultimate Free Giveaway.
I bet you don't get free psychic readings.
But you do get free readings.
Free phone calls.
Absolutely free psychic phone calls.
And free daily horoscope?
Absolutely.
And what? Is there anything else?
You get free psychic readings, a free monthly magazine, free daily lucky numbers, free daily horoscopes, free special reports, and a free gift.
How much is the call for all of this stuff gonna cost?
That's free, too. Plus, if you call now, you get an extra bonus package full of fabulous treats. And for a limited time, get access to your very own voicemail system. And if you call right now, you can get up to 15 minutes in free psychic readings every day.
And this is with the Psychic Friends Network.
like Dionne Warwick. Not those other copycats, right?
This is a genuine original, the Psychic Friends Network.
Wow, this is the real Psychic Friends Network.
I'm gonna call right now.
Me too.
Me 3. You just have to be over 18 to get up to 15 free minutes every day. There's no reason not to call.
Yo, everybody should call.
The drugs and the alcohol replace all the love and the affection that I was looking for. I was just dangling.
When you need help, Charter is here, and you can call us anytime. Charter is more than just a hospital. We have lots of treatment options and lots of ways to make them work for you, whether it's days, after work, or on weekends.
I can look at myself and say, hey, I am somebody.
If you have a problem with alcohol or drugs, don't wait to call. If you don't get help at Charter, please get help somewhere.
At Morgan, Cullen & Gilbert, the phrase, for the people, is more than just a slogan. It truly represents what we do and who we are. We've never represented an insurance company, a hospital, or an HMO. We're proud of that. Our practice is devoted to helping the person who's been injured or the family who suffered a loss and now have questions. For the people. It's who we are. Morgan, Cullen & Gilbert. For the people.
CBS News Up to the Minute. This is Thursday, June 12th.
On this day in 1994, the bodies of O.J. Simpson's ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman, were found stabbed to death outside her home in Los Angeles. 5 days later, after a nationally televised low-speed chase, Simpson was arrested and charged with the murders. After what some called the trial of the century, Simpson was acquitted. He lost a wrongful death civil suit brought by the Goldman and Brown families.
On this day in 1979, an American adventurer crossed the English Channel in a pedal plane. CBS News correspondent Doug Tennell was there when he landed.
Chief pilot Brian Allen's second liftoff from a breakwater on the English coast was nearly perfect, but a broken wheel on his first attempt had set back the Gossamer's departure by more than an hour, just enough time for the wind to come up. The flight crew had prepared for winds of no more than 7 miles an hour, but midway through the 22-mile journey, their craft flew headlong into gusts nearly twice that speed. The weather began to take its toll on the Gossamer's only power source. Skimming just above the waves, Allen called at one point for the escort boats to pull alongside and make ready to put the Gossamer in tow to prevent it from crashing and sinking. But as the boats approached, Allen increased the altitude of his 55-pound pedal plane a few critical feet and found the going a little easier. The coast of France soon came into view, inspiration enough perhaps for the 26-year-old cyclist from California to press on. Almost 2 3/4 hours after leaving England, the Gossamer Albatross settled into the sand at Cape Grinet in northern France. An exhausted Brian Allen described it as marvelous.
Whoa, you know, just see the surf and the breakers, and suddenly, you know, it just goes, wow.
The crew of the Gossamer Albatross earned a $200,000 prize posted by a British industrialist for the first human-powered flight across the Channel. After he rests his weary legs, Brian Allen plans to go home to the United States. No pedals, thank you. Doug Tennell, CBS News in northern France.
And suddenly it was just like, wow, how 70s. That is this day in history. More of today's CBS News next.
Judgment Day. Will Tim McVeigh get life or death? The jury begins its deliberations. Full team coverage live from Denver tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Wake up with 10 News Daybreak. Mornings at 6.
Now on CBS News Up to the Minute, Timothy McVeigh's parents plead for his life.
And the plight of flood victims ripples to Congress. Good morning from CBS News in New York. This is Up to the Minute. I'm Cynthia Weber.
I'm Rick Jackson. Thanks for joining us this morning. The judge in the Oklahoma City bombing case has told the jury they will probably begin penalty deliberations today. Yesterday, Tim McVeigh's family did their best to save his life. CBS News correspondent Dave Failing reports from Denver.
Timothy McVeigh's mother and father came to Denver to ask the jury to spare their son from death by injection. Now divorced from William McVeigh, Mildred Frazier testified she couldn't believe her son could have been the bomber. He is not the monster he has been portrayed as, she said. Yes, I am pleading for my son's life. I hope God helps you make the right decision. William McVeigh then took the stand and introduced a video the defense produced with him as narrator. It was a homey recollection of family life with Tim in Pendleton, New York.
In high school, he got an award when he graduated for never missing a day.
Tim McVeigh appeared to tear up briefly, but later was seen laughing with his lawyers. Jurors who earlier in the trial had wept at the heartbreaking stories from survivors of the bombing seemed overall unmoved.
I had a really good look at the jurors, and they had some very stern looks on their faces.
Tim McVeigh's sister hoped the jury would show mercy.
Just want him to live.
But people whose loved ones were killed by the truck bomb said they were not moved.
I want him to be put to death. I don't think there's anything can change my mind.
Some, though, felt sorry for McVeigh's parents.
I've always considered them the forgotten victims. And being a mother, I was sad for them.
The jury will hear one final plea for mercy from McVeigh's attorneys. If just one juror is swayed, that would be enough to spare McVeigh from execution. Dave Failing, CBS News, Denver.
As you just saw in Oklahoma City, those who lost their loved ones are still angry at Timothy McVeigh, but they're divided about whether the government should execute him. CBS News correspondent Lee Cowan reports.
In this place where so many died, a group gathered to keep another death from happening. Timothy McVeigh, they say, should not be another death statistic. They have had enough of that here.
Killing Timothy McVeigh will not make us a civilized country.
Every human being, even Timothy McVeigh, has a soul.
In the days since the guilty verdict, many here have changed their minds about punishment for Timothy McVeigh. People like this woman, who had a strange feeling about her April 19th appointment in the Murrow building. So she canceled it. Now she's left with the thought of whether the man who could have killed her that morning should himself die as well.
I just leave it to God.
But not everyone here agrees.
Yeah, but look at this. I mean, I'm a Vietnam veteran. Someone have the nerve to do this to people? I mean, can we leave that person walking around in society? I mean, how stupid are we?
As many tears are still present on this fence, there is anger, too, and soul-searching. In this community, with a church on nearly every corner, there are those who find the answer in the Bible.
The Bible says eye for eye and tooth for tooth, and if you kill somebody, you're to be killed. That's Bible.
As vocal as both sides are on this issue, few here say that they would actually like to be the ones that hold Timothy McVeigh's fate in their hands. And they certainly don't envy the 12 people who do. Lee Cowan, CBS News, Oklahoma City.
In Washington, it was no ordinary fundraiser for President Clinton last night.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Soft money has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Soft money has got to go!
Demonstrators protested against fundraising tactics outside a Washington hotel where the president met with major Democratic Party donors. And another fundraising embarrassment for the president, Republicans say they found the so-called smoking gun implicating former White House guest and fundraiser John Wong. Sources tell CBS News there's evidence that while Wong was working at the Commerce Department, he shared trade secrets with his former employer, the Lippo Group. The Lippo Group is an international company with ties to China.
Democrats may have slowed down business on Capitol Hill in a protest for flood relief, but it's the feelings of voters that are having an effect on Republicans. Flood victims in the Midwest are not mincing words about how angry they are as they wait for Washington to write some checks.
I will never vote Republican after this.
Let them spend a week in a FEMA trailer and see what they think.
It's been almost 3 months since the floods forced people in Grand Forks, North Dakota from their homes. The response in Washington, a new disaster relief bill could be brought to the floor of the House or Senate as early as today, thanks to messages from Republicans that they're ready to deal. CBS News correspondent Byron Pitts reports.
80% of the homes were damaged in this town.
On the Senate floor, a day of haunting pictures and harsh words.
Never before in the face of disaster have we diddled for as long as we've diddled on this disaster.
Democrats blaming Republicans for delaying disaster relief funds flood victims in the Dakotas and Minnesota desperately need. In an unusual all-nighter at the Capitol, bleary-eyed Democrats took shifts sharing pizza in the spotlight in a media blitz vowing to keep the Senate from conducting any other business until a new disaster aid bill is passed.
I will be compelled to object.
A threat they made good on Wednesday, forcing Republicans to caucus and eventually concede.
I ask consent that the Senate